Welcome to Aptitude destination. Please pause the video and read the question completely. This is a data sufficiency question. We are supposed to find if p plus q minus r is greater than p minus q plus r. The first statement says p minus q is positive, which means p is greater than q. Let's consider p to be 5 and q to be 4. Substituting the value in the equation p plus q minus r, we will get 5 plus 4 minus r, and this equation we would get 5 minus 4 plus r. So this would be 9 minus r and this would be 1 plus r. Now let's consider the value of r to be 9. So this would become 9 minus 9 and this would become 1 plus 9, which would be 0 and 10, which means the second equation would be greater. But if you consider 1 in the place of r, we will get 8 here and 2 here, which means the first equation would be greater. Therefore, with the first statement alone, it is not possible for us to find which equation is greater. Moving on to the second equation, p minus r is negative, which means r is greater than p. Now let's consider r to be 5 and p to be 4. The first equation would become 4 plus q minus 5, that is q minus 1. The second equation would become 4 minus q plus 5, that is 9 minus q. Now let's substitute 9 in the place of q. So left side would become 9 minus 1 and the right side would become 9 minus 9. That is, the first equation would give 8 and the second equation would give 0, which means the first equation is greater. But now if you substitute 1 in the place of q, you will get 0 here and 8 here, which means the second equation would become greater. Therefore, statement 2 alone is not sufficient to answer this question. Now let's combine both the statements and find out if they are sufficient to answer this question. So both the statements combined, we would get r is greater than p is greater than q. Now you can substitute any values. Let's take 3, 2, 1. And we can easily find out which one is greater. The first equation would be 2 plus 1 minus 3, that is 0. The second equation would be 2 minus 1 plus 3, that is 4. So the equation on the right is greater. You can also conclude this without examples. Let's say we take the first equation as follows, p minus r plus q, and the second equation as p minus q plus r. We know that p minus r is a negative value, and then we are adding q, which is the smallest of all the three integers, and p minus q will give a positive value, and r is the largest of all the given integers. So clearly the smallest value is even made smaller by a negative value, and the largest value is even made larger by a positive value. So easily the equation on the right is greater. Therefore, both the statements combined are enough to answer this question. So option C is the right answer.